I am not making progress. Why is that? Because you're not practicing. That's it. Another message I get received all the time. Oh, I'm not making progress. I've been playing for X amount of years. I'm not making progress. I've been stuck at the beginner's level for years. You're not making progress because you're not practicing, right? You may think you're practicing, but you're not. A lot of folks sit at the piano and they regurgitate something they learned last year or something somebody showed them on the piano. And they practice that same thing. Growing means stepping outside your comfort zone, working on things, practicing things that are new. So if you're not constantly trying new things, practicing new things, you're not growing. Now, you don't want to be practicing something new every time you sit at the piano. You want to allow yourself to get comfortable with something first, get a good grip on it before you add something new. But you need to be saying, okay, how long have I been working on X? Where am I now? Is it time to move on or not? Over at Pianists with Warren, we have a great practice path that tells you what you need to work on, how to work on it, and when to move on. So you know that you're constantly growing and you're not staying stuck and stagnant by continuing to regurgitate the same things. If you've been playing for a while and you only know a handful of songs, again, that means you're not challenging yourself enough. You need to put that song on the shelf at some point and move on to a new song. Another problem is some people get stuck at the perfectionist zone. They're a beginner, yet still they're trying to master everything at once. No. So you're not going to master all 12 keys at the beginner's level. You're not going to learn all the fancy chords at the beginner's level. You're not going to learn how to do crazy licks, lines, and runs at the beginner's level. So you have to put certain things on the shelf. So if you've been working on a song for 3-4 months and you're like, but it's not perfect yet, doesn't matter. You can't expect to perfect everything at the beginner's level. You learn it 60% of the way, 70% of the way, that's good enough. Mark it complete, put it on the shelf, move on to something else. As your skills get better, you're going to move closer to this perfectionism. You're going to get better at learning. You're going to get better at memorization. You're going to get better at playing. And you're going to get closer and closer to your ideal self in terms of how you want to see yourself play and how you want to hear yourself play. But you can't do that on just one single song. You need to learn dozens and dozens of songs. I have learned hundreds of songs, if not a couple thousand in my lifetime. And so if you've only learned a handful of songs and you're like, well, I'm not good yet. Well, you haven't put in the work yet. You haven't gone through enough song yet to get good. So if you're not making progress, you got to practice more and you need to challenge yourself more. And most importantly, you need to make sure that you're practicing the right things and you're doing them correctly, which is where guys like me come in with my practice path over at pianistwithwarren.com. Because let me tell you something. Some people are brilliant where they can learn everything on their own with just random YouTube videos. Most people aren't like that, including myself. Honestly, if I didn't go to college, I don't think I'd be able to play the way I do today. I spent 9 years in college with some of the best piano players in the world, teaching me and guiding me and showing me what to do, which helped me to cut out a lot of years, right? Condense 20 years into 9. So I got help, a lot of help. When you guys see me play, I got a lot of help. I'm not gifted. I just practiced a lot and I got help. So if you're struggling, and remember, I did this as a time when I wasn't married, I didn't have kids, I didn't have a job. I was 19, 18, 21 years old, meaning I had the time to just focus on music. Most of you have kids, you got wives, you got husbands, you got a job, you got 2 jobs, you got 3 jobs, meaning you don't have as much time as when you were younger, which means you got to be more mindful with your time. So if you only have an hour a day to practice, you got to make that hour count. So instead of trying to use that hour browsing 10,000 different YouTube videos, it's better to invest that in either a local teacher or an online teacher so you can maximize that hour by using it correctly. So if you're not making progress, that's really the 2 things. You need to make sure that you're practicing and challenging yourself more, and you need to seek out help. Stop trying to wing this thing on your own. It'll be so much more fulfilling, and you'll be able to save so much more time once you get help.